Hi, you guys. It is Friday. That means that I am a lot of days late, as you guys, I'm sure, can see. I'm going to tell you right now, I have a concussion, so that's a great way to start out this video. And another great thing that you guys should probably know is I am taking inspiration from my role model, Tucker, and I'm not wearing pants for this video. So that's fun. So last time I told you guys on Wednesday or on Tuesday of last week, work wasn't going very great, blah blah blah, things were kind of shitty, and I was just not in a really great place. Well, Wednesday was a pretty mediocre day. It was really nothing big that happened, and then Chef called me in and asked me if I could start on Thursday at 7 o'clock in the morning. And I was like, yeah, sure, that's, it's fine, not a big deal. Then I could get off at 3 and it would be really great. And so it had been blizzarding all the night before, and snow was like up to my ankles, or like, no, there's more than that. It was up to the ankles along the highway, which is where all the cars go by, but there's a lot of snow going on. And so I left my house early and I got to work, and then the janitor was there, so I started on prep and just did some random stuff around there while I was waiting for the plumber to arrive. And I was feeling really, really not great, and I just chalked it up to like being in a bad mood because of the snow or something. And I didn't know what was going on, so I just kind of kept going, and so I'd been there from 7 o'clock. And then at 9 o'clock, Jessica got in, and it was just me and Jessica and Mr. Wu, who is our 80-year-old dishwasher. He's Chinese. He has a double PhD. He is retired in both Canada and Japan, or China, and works in a restaurant because he's bored. And the man has money, like lots of money. And his kids own restaurants and stuff. And he works in restaurants because he's bored, so that's what he does for fun. And so it was just us three, and so I was starting to set up line, and I just was not feeling good, and I couldn't figure out what was wrong. And so I went to go sit down after a while because I was like, apparently I was pale, pale, pale. And so I went and to go sit down in the staff room. And it was around, I guess, I don't even know what time it was, 9:50 maybe. And so Katrina was in there, and she's one of our servers, and she's amazing. And she was in, and she came in and she asked me what was wrong, and sat there and kind of stroked my back for a couple minutes. And then she went out, and then Jess came in, and she's like, do you want me to, like, do anything online? Because it was just me and her, and I had to have it all set up. And I was like, yeah, just turn on the, this piece of hair is, there we go. I'm like, yeah, just turn on the burners, and I have the pots of soup already, and just fill all the ones that aren't completely full. And so she did that, and then she left, and I got up to go and follow her out, and I collapsed and passed out. I was apparently unconscious, or I was on the floor, and no one had found me for about 3 minutes, or 5 minutes, I guess. And then Jeet, our bartender, walked in, and he kind of walked by, and he's like, hey, Kenzo, because that's what he calls me, and I didn't respond. And so he came back, and he was like trying to wake me up, and then he went and yelled for Jessica, and he's like, how long has Kenzie been on the floor? And she's like, no, she's, she was just up a second ago, she's not been down for long. And then she kept walking, apparently, and then she stopped, and she's like, wait, Kenzie's on the floor. And I was out cold. I was out for about 15 minutes, or 20 minutes, I guess. And when I came to, I had 3 firemen over top of me, which is not nearly as amazing as it sounds, trust me. They were putting on an oxygen mask, and one of them was squeezing my shoulder. The paramedic, the grumpy paramedic, was squeezing my shoulder really, like, really hard enough you wouldn't see it anymore, but it was like hard enough to leave a bruise, and it was like right up in here, and it hurt so bad. And so I was not thrilled with that. And he was just a grumpy old man. And so the firemen leave, and then the paramedics, like, everyone out of here. And so he was just talking to me, and he was like lecturing me on collapsing, and I hit my head really hard that day. And the paramedic wanted me to go to the hospital, and I said no. I blatantly refused. He's like, we're gonna have to pay for the ambulance bill either way. I was like, that's fine, I'm not going to the hospital. I don't like hospitals. So I didn't end up having to go. And And so then Chef made me go home that day at 11. It was when everything had kind of calmed down and the paramedics were gone. And so Cass drove me home. And I went home and I slept immediately after after I hit my head hard enough to give myself a concussion. That wasn't good. Not a good thing. I'll get into that later. So then all Thursday, I pretty much did nothing, and then Hoover came and hung out with me for a while in the evening, and then we went to go watch The Office. And in the span of one day, I got so many phone calls from so many people. They're all just like, "Are you okay?" And, "Are you, like, alive still?" And I said I was fine. And these are all things I learned afterwards when Jeet walked in and found me. I guess he was so scared, and Jessica thought, she's like, "At one point I thought the kid was gonna cry." And I was like, "That's so terrible," because Jeet's like 26 or 25 and she's like 19, and she called him a kid. It was really funny. And so that was interesting, and everyone was so worried about me, and Katrina was almost crying because she's like, "I shouldn't have left you when you looked like that." I was like, "You had to do your job. You didn't have a choice, and it's not like I would have wanted you to sit there and watch me look bad," because I guess I was white, like borderline yellow white or green white, I don't remember. And so and then I guess there was this really, really hot firefighter, and Cassie, who was a year and a half married, she was like, "I was so worried about you, but I kept making eye contact with the firefighter and I couldn't stop smiling, and I was really genuinely afraid for you, but I just couldn't stop smiling. But then I was like, oh, I have to look somber." She's so funny. So that was good. And so Thursday I was like, fine. And Chef called me at 5. He's like, "Hey, how you feeling?" I was like, "I'm pretty good." He's like, "Want to come in at 7 o'clock tomorrow again?" I was like, "Sure." So I walked to work again, and I should not have. And but I worked that whole day through. I was a trooper. I got off at 3, and then I went to the hospital. And on my way to the hospital, one of our bartenders gave me, or forced me to go to the hospital pretty much. And I got really disoriented, and he's like, "Well, I have to go back to work now, but they have instructions to call you a cab when you're done and stuff." I don't remember this, but apparently after I left the hospital, I went to West Ed. And I do remember, but I don't remember, sorry, I don't remember leaving the hospital and getting to West Ed, but I do remember being at West Ed. I got some stuff, and then I got really lost on the way home. This was Friday, by the way. I got really lost on the way home, and I was super disoriented. Then I ended up at Frances's house, which is apparently what we were supposed to do, but I don't remember having that phone conversation with her. And so I ended up at her house, and then we went over to Kelly and Hoover's house, and we had a load of marathon. I don't remember that either. We watched the first marathon, or the first Lord of the Rings and a half. And then Saturday, I went to work and opened, and Chef sent me home at 10:30. He's like, "Kenzie, go now. You look terrible." And there was one point, and I had cooked something, and there were ripples in the au jus because it was hot and it had formed a skin, so it was rippling underneath. Apparently I stood there for about 5 minutes and just watched it, and that's when Chef was like, "Go home now." And so then Brandon, the bartender, drove me home. It was so sweet. And so that's pretty much my concussion. And so because I fell asleep directly after having a concussion, I have really spotty memory. I really don't remember very much. So then I had Saturday off, and then Hoover came and visited me, and then he took me on a surprise date, and we went and got sushi, which made my day so much better. And then Shay came over, and we went and did the fundraiser for my cousins, and I had a great time. I hope you did, Shay. She did. And so that was good. And then Sunday we had church, and I didn't teach, which was really good because I had a concussion and I was not feeling good. And then we went out for lunch to IKEA, and I had some really sketchy food there. And then we went and had a Walmart adventure. I don't know really what happened there. And then we went to our house, my house, and then Shay went home, and I miss you, Shay. I love you. And that was Sunday. Um, oh, and then Sunday evening, Hoover and I went out on a double date with Tim and Katie, even though it wasn't supposed to be a date. It ended up being a date. And then I was getting out of, I love this song. And then I was getting out of the car after Tim had dropped me off, or they dropped me off at home. And Tim stopped the car, and I stepped out, and Trent had just gotten home. I stepped out of the car and slipped and fell and hit my head on the tire of the car, on the runner of the car. And I had a 3-man escort into my house. I had Trent and Hoover on either side of me, and Tim was holding on to the belt buckle of my coat while Katie was laughing her ass off in the car. So I have great friends. Then on Monday, which was apparently supposed to be my video day, and I don't remember Monday, I hung out with Papa, my great-grandfather, at one point, but I really don't remember very much of what happened on Monday. Then Tuesday was work and Bible study, and then we went out for dinner afterwards. And then Wednesday, normal work day. Didn't do anything afterwards. Thursday was yesterday, and after work, Hoover and I went out for, we're doing at least one night a week, we're deliberately going on a date night just so we get out and don't just, hang out with other people, so we can have one-on-one time. And so we went out to Moxie's after hanging out at the house for a while, and then he dropped me off. And then today, Friday, was a amazing day, because today at lunch, so we started out our day with a 30 top at 11. So we opened, oops, that would have been awkward. We opened the doors at 11. At 11:10 we started getting bills, and it was like 3 and 5 tabletops. At 11:20 we had a 9 tabletop. So that's 9 people at a table. At 11:27 we had a 12 tabletop, and at 11:45 we had a 32 top in the pub. And a lot of them ordered appies and stuff, and had it been anyone else online with us, it was me and Adam and Scott, who's amazing online, and Terry and Chef. So there's 5 of us online. And had it been anyone else, we would have been screwed so badly. But Chef had everything under control. We had no bills under or over 20 minutes. And we had like 4 that were 16 to 19 minutes, and the rest were all under 15 minutes. And these are bills that had 6 items on them, no more. And then, we'd have like 6 and 6 and 6 and 6. We had a ton of bills across, and we handled it like pros. It was beautiful. And then for the rest of the day, we were really busy all day. And then after work today, I just kind of hung out with some people from work, and it was a very chill evening. So, that's pretty much what my past week and a half has been on Tuesday. Yep, I will update you guys again as to what's going on. As for my concussion, everything's under control, everything's fine. I have some spotty memory. I'm a little bit disoriented sometimes, but it's not a big deal. I just realized I'm at 14 minutes. I love you guys so much. I'm sorry for the random assortment of music. I have the assorted file on. So I love you guys. Have a fantastic weekend. Happy Thanksgiving to you Americans. And Shay, have a good date on Friday. Oh, that was today. I hope you had a good date. If not, let's hang out on Sunday, and we'll go see your stupid movie. I love you guys. Have a good night. Again, talk to you later. Bye.